All right. I'm Jill Ragg, and this is my sister-in-law,
Amy Ragg.
and we are trying our first ever video together. This is a whole new thing, so just ignore us if we get distracted by noise in the background or pop-ups right here. So we wanted to talk today about hosting a crowd. We each have 6 kids, so between us, when we get together, we are up to 16 people, though the baby doesn't really count. So we thought we would talk about just 3 main things, hit a couple topics, and I'm gonna ask Amy some questions and then we'll interact with the answers. So the first one is that over the past 8 years that we haven't lived in the same town, we have been spending weekends to full 5-6 day weeks together when we get together at each other's houses. How in the world do we feed that many people for that many number of days without, going into debt or going crazy? So what are some of the things that we've done through the years to streamline feeding this many people?
When we first started, we did what I affectionately call strategic planning meetings, which would mean before we would get together for a whole week, about a week in advance, we would get on the phone together and just talk through all the meals. We would plan out every meal, that who would bring what and who would cook what even, and who would provide what. Maybe who had some extra something in their freezer left over from past week's grocery shopping. We would plan out every snack, because at that time we had children that relied on snacks, because little ones don't eat huge meals. Their stomachs can't hold a lot, so they do need some sustenance in between the meal times, and we wanted to make sure that we weren't just throwing junk at them all the time, and that there was a rotation of snacks going on. So we planned every detail down to that, and down to paper goods. We were comfortable with each other contributing, and maybe you'll be in a situation that you're not, so you just need to do a strategic planning meeting with yourself that is helpful, to sit down and think about the meals that you need to provide and what kind of timeline you may have, because if you're doing big events like holidays, there's not going to be as much time necessarily to cook, and maybe there's some things that you can put in the freezer ahead of time.
Planning ahead, cooking ahead. One of the other things we do in streamlining is here in the town where I live, they make Tervis tumblers, which all have different design on them. And so we let each child choose, usually at the beginning of the week, but then we write it down, and they have their same cup for the whole weekend. And we just rinse them out every night or so, line them back up, and the kids always know. We know who's missing, we know who's not drank their milk if they're little, or whatever it may be. But there have also been some other times when we had more than our 16. Hurricanes have forced us to spend time in large cabins, although the forcing was very fun.
A forced vacation can't be too bad.
No, hurricane damage aside, the house didn't look like a hurricane, nor the food. We kept it chill for the kids. So we've done easy things like Campbell's soup and crackers.
Quesadillas has been another easy crowd pleaser.
Spaghetti, pork loin in crock pots.
Crockpot is your friend when you are cooking for a large crowd. If you have an Instapot,
and you actually want to spend time talking to each other and not just slaving in the kitchen the whole time. Yeah. So that's been fun. And even that time we were in a big cabin, we had, 8 kids we added one day, just spur of the moment. We said, sure, we can feed them, because really kids don't eat a lot. Most kids, some kids I guess are, but for the most part, you can probably count 2 to 3 kids per one adult serving. And that rolls into our other question. So we've got how to streamline and plan for a big crowd, but also I noticed once we had 4 kids and then more, maybe you noticed this too, people kind of stopped asking us over, because they're like, holy cow, the Rags have so many kids and we can't fit them, we can't feed them, how do I cook for that many people? So we wanted to tell you from our experience of each having 6 kids, how to make it possible to have a family over and bless them with a meal that mom didn't have to cook. I had one friend with 7 kids who couldn't remember the last time they went to someone's house for dinner, and that's kind of a bummer for her. So we want to encourage you how to have large families over